Hi, my name is Melissa van Dijk and I'm a makeup artist, and in this video I'm going to show you 4 gorgeous evening eye makeup looks which I'm going to create with the Zoeva Melody eyeshadow palette. And I've done already a video on the creative looks with the Zoeva palette, but this time I'm going to stick with mainly the shimmers so that you can see how they perform, as well as showing you that you can also use only your fingers to apply an eyeshadow so that you can create and come up with gorgeous eye makeup looks. And this is what this not really challenge is about, but also to show you that if you don't have brushes, you can create gorgeous looks with the shadows as well. And so I'm going to start off with the first eye makeup look, which for the first step we are going to dig into this lighter shade right here, and of course we are going to use the finger, and this is a shadow that we are going to use and apply all over the entire eyelid area so that we have a settled base. And so now once you have applied the first shadow all over the entire eyelid area from the lash line to the brow bone area, then the base is already done. Now the lighter shade is a shimmer that is kind of matte, but it also has little glitter particles in it, which also will be visible if the light reflects on your eyes, which also makes it like so beautiful. And now for step number 2, we are going to apply a matte shadow on the main lid area until we are reaching the crease and also above if needed. This also depends on how far up you want to bring the shadow so that it's still visible once you open your eyes. And so I'm going to stick with this light brown grayish tone right here. Of course I'm going to use my fingers, and one trick that I can share with you if you can is that you're going to use both of your hands, like your right side and your left side, to apply the shadow. It just makes it so easy, and you can apply it on both sides the same, because then you don't have to use like your right hand on the other side and just make sure that you are getting it there where you want it, but just use then the left hand and apply it on this side as well, so that you will get an even application. And so now once you're happy on how you applied the matte shadow, keep in mind that if you're applying matte shadows with your fingers, you are able to get a little bit more pressure to your eyelid area. So make sure that if you have an eye primer or you're using a concealer underneath to get a very clear canvas, make sure that this one is set well. Otherwise, if you're going to press the shadow on top of your eyelid area and you have some wet or damp areas where you haven't powdered properly, then it's going to stick to those areas and it gets tricky to blend. And this is something that's really important because you're using your fingers. So this is also why I've mentioned that you should apply the lighter shadow before, to make sure that everything will look smooth and is also powdered at the same time. And now once you are done with it, you're happy on how it looks, don't forget to clean also your fingers in between, because we don't want to mess everything up. And we all know that if you have something on your fingers and you just do this while you're in your mind, then you can start all over again with your base. So make sure that you always have makeup wipes with you. And now we can move on to the next step, which is applying a beautiful shimmery shade on the center of the main lid area. And you're not going to drag it all the way up or to the side. We're going to keep it the focus on the midsection, as then with the light it's going to reflect it, and it also just bring your eyes forward and into focus. And so the shadow that I'm going to use is such a gorgeous shadow because of the reflection. So it's a brown shadow, but if you're going to use it on your fingers, it also reflects into a green direction. And this one is so gorgeous that this is one of my favorite shadows, besides this one right here on from the whole palette. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start pressing it on top of my eyelid area and then slightly blend it so that it's getting melted with the matte shadow as well. And so once you have applied the shimmer shade on the midsection of your eyelid area, this is all what we want, and this is also like what I wanted to show you with the first evening eye makeup look. Now for the second evening eye makeup look, I was thinking about like what would happen if you're going to use a little bit more of colorful colors that you're going to wear if you're going out, like having a real night out, not only for dinner. And so I was playing around with the purple as well as with the iridescent shadow, and we're going to keep it simple but still a little bit more of a colorful evening eye makeup look. Starting off with the first step, which is applying the purple all over the eyelid area, from the lash line towards the crease and a little bit above so that it's visible. And so of course I'm going to use the finger, but I also want to mention that if you want to intensify any color, you can always use a little bit of water or some setting spray and then wet your finger, not too much because we don't want to like wet the color itself, but so that the pigmentation will be a little bit stronger and that you can pick up more product. And so I'm going to start off with a little bit, and then if needed and if I want to get a little bit more pigmentation, I'm going to wet the finger. And so once you're happy on how you apply the purple shadow on the mainland area, we now can also move on to the next step, which is applying the iridescent shadow towards the inner corner. And this is what I mean of, it is like not that very natural, calm evening eye makeup look where you use shimmers, but it still is very wearable. This is more like a really party look, or even going into the direction of a festival creative look. But it still is very suitable, as purple is also a beautiful night out color. And so when it comes to the inner corner, I'm also going to use my pinky, which I'm then like going to dig into it, of course, and then placing it towards the inner corner and trying to blend it just a tiny bit towards the upper, like lower part as well as upper part. And so once you placed it towards the inner corner, those are the two shadows which I wanted to show you that you can combine them beautifully together to create a beautiful night out eye makeup look. And now for the third evening eye makeup look, we're going to keep it a little bit like classic. So we're going to dig into some matte shadow as well as some shimmers, and we're going to combine those two. And for step number one, we're going to start off with the shimmery shadow, which is a beautiful golden shimmery shadow, which of course I'm going to use my finger for. And this is the one that you're going to apply from the inner corner towards the nearly outer corner section, but just keep a little bit of space for the matte shadow later on. And then you're also going to blend it towards the crease and also a bit above. And this is by all using your fingers. And so once you have applied the golden shadow on the mainland area nearly towards the outer corner, we now can move on to step number two, which is applying the matte shadow towards the outer corner. And for that I'm also going to move back and forth between the matte shadow and the golden shimmer shadow, because I want to make sure that those two are melting into each other. And it's not about getting the matte shadow focused towards the outer corner so that it's visible that it's a matte shadow, but it's more like to create a shadow towards the outer edge so that we can darken the outer corner. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with just a little bit and then moving like between the matte shadow and the shimmer shadow. And so once you're happy on how you place the golden and the matte shadow and you blended it into each other with your fingers, then this is already the look. And just imagine this look if you have a black dress on as well as heading out for dinner. This is all what I need to say. Now for the final and last evening eye makeup look, I'm going to stick with two shimmery shadows and we are going to use a lighter shadow as well as a little bit more of a deeper shadow. So for step number one, we are going to start off applying the lighter shimmery shadow on the main lid area from the inner corner towards nearly the outer corner. So similar as we've done with the previous look. And so I'm going to use my finger, dig into the shadow and then pressing it at first on the main lid area and then blending it. And so once you have applied the first shadow on the main lid area, we now can move on to step number two, which is applying the copper greenish shadow towards the outer corner. And even though this is a shimmery shade, this can also darken the outer corner as well, which will give you a beautiful finish. And I'm also going to start off with applying it with the finger, then pressing it towards the outer corner and then blending it. And so once you're happy on how you place the outer corner shimmery shadow as well, then you have already created a beautiful evening eye makeup look. And now the only thing that's missing is a little bit of mascara, liner and false lashes, which are optional, and it also depends on your preference. And here you have what the finished look looks like with the lashes on, as I decided to go for it. And it just will transform a beautiful and very subtle but still shimmery look into a little bit more of a dramatic evening look. And those were the 4 evening eye makeup looks which I wanted to show you guys. And I do hope that you enjoyed the video as well as the tutorials for each step. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it, as this is an independent channel. Thank you so much for watching and your support, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!